Now we should move to the M&E module on the IFAD interface. To find the M&E module, you just need to move the cursor to the left and then click on M&E. Here we can see 3 cards with monitoring information regarding IFAD's portfolio progress. The first one is related to indicators and the logical framework. The second shows financial information, and the third is dedicated to monitor AWPB activities. On the first card, it's possible to see the total amount of indicators, indicator process by project, and a consolidated view of all projects' progress. On the second card, we can see the total amount already financed, the total amount financed by project, and its financial progress as well, and finally, a summary of disbursements done by the programs. On the third card, dedicated to the AWPB, we can see the total amount planned for that fiscal year, as well as the indicator and financial progress of all AWPBs registered on the system. It is also possible to get a more detailed view of any of those cards. Here we can see all projects indicators, including the cost-op indicators and its progress. We can see the indicator name, its classification, a graphical representation of that progress, the type of indicator, the final goal, the percentage achieved, etc. By clicking on View History, we can have a more detailed view of that particular indicator monitoring history. It is also possible to click on the indicator's description, and that way we can see the progress in this graphic representation, comparing what was planned and what was already executed. On the top of the screen, we have the option to access a report template. This tool enables us to generate a report of IFAD's portfolio progress or that of a single project as well. After selecting this option, we just need to select the final date of monitoring and click on Generate. The system will then generate a PDF report with the indicator list, a classification in a traffic light logic, as well as the progress compared to what was planned until the select date. On the detailed view of the financial card, it is possible to see charts and tables about programs' financial progress. This first table will show a summary of financial execution by project, and it's also possible to visualize that same progress by year. Below, we have a pie chart comparing what is yet to be spent and what was already executed by the programs. Right next to it, we have a chart with the AWPB's financial execution. Below this chart, we move to the disbursement history. a chart showing the total amount financed, organizing the financial execution by the nature of the source of funds, and right next to it we have this same information disposed in percentiles. The two last charts are related to financial execution of each source of funds used on the programs. The first one shows the total amounts, while the second will show that same information only in percentiles. Moving to the top, we can see the Projects tab. By clicking here, we can see the total amount financed on each project, the percentage that was already executed, and what is still to be used. It is also possible to get a more detailed view of every one of those charts. For that, we just need to click on See More. The system will then show the financial monitoring charts for the selected project. Here you have the AWPB monitoring chart. Here you can see the financial execution by category and subcategory, the disbursement history, financial execution by component, and finally, the pie charts for financial execution by nature of the sources of funds and by the sources itself, both showed in percentiles. The last detailed view is the one designated to the AWPB monitoring. Here the system will show us the planned versus executed AWPB data of this specific year. Here you can see the total amount planned and the progress of all AWPBs registered by the programs on that specific year. Below we have a table with detailed financial information by project. And finally, a chart with the relation between AWPB activities and indicators. Right on the top of the screen, we have the Projects Monitoring tab. Here you can get detailed information by project. So for that, we should select which projects we want to analyze and click on the filter button. That way the system will show the AWPB progress for that specific program, including financial and activity progress. It is also possible to visualize data from different years. You just need to click to choose the year on that selection box, and then select which year we want to see. The system will then show the data related to that specific year. Moving to the dashboard, the first screen you'll see when you open Data.IFAD, we can see more monitoring information, such as the projects that will show the total projects registered on the system, the total number of beneficiary households, the total amount of finance funds, taking into consideration all the programs registered, into that portfolio and the number of supervision missions already registered on the system. To get a detailed view of any of that information, you just need to click on the number on that card. On the projects card, we can see the indicator progress for all the programs. We can also see how many days until the end of that project, based on the end date informed while registered this specific project on the system. It is also possible to see the financial execution charts for each project, which includes the total amount of funds executed and the funds yet to be used by the programs. Moving to the beneficiary households cards, we can get detailed information about the results related to households, including total number of households, people, women, men, youngsters, adults, HIV positive, and people with disabilities. The chart right next to it shows the same indicators, but this time by projects. Those pie charts below shows percentage of beneficiary women, youngsters, HIV positive, and people with disabilities related to all the programs into that portfolio. Moving to the financial card, we have the total amount of funds executed and yet to be used by the projects, the disbursement history by project as well, financial execution by the nature of sources of funds, that same information by percentiles, and the same goes to the financial execution by sources of funds. The last card is dedicated to supervision missions. Here we can see the total number of supervision missions that already took place on that specific project, the total number of recommendations done on supervision missions by project, as well as the status of each recommendation. Here we have a pie chart comparing the number of missions planned and the numbers of missions executed. And finally, we have a pie chart of all the supervision mission recommendations statuses. Finally, the user can generate its own dashboard with a variety of information available on the system. For that, we need to click on the Set Chart button. Here we can see and select which charts we want to input on our dashboard. Very important, there is no limit for that action. The user can select as many graphics as he or she wants to see on their personal dashboard. Just as an example, we will select those charts, click on the Save button, and automatically we'll see our personal dashboard on the system.